What if I told you a privately owned Hollywood movie production company has stolen over $800 billion from our grandparents and parents' blood, sweat, and retirement funds? It is possible to save the 30,000 children that die every day from preventable illnesses by taking only 10% of the daily budget from this company. They are also responsible for teaching theories as fact with no verifiable proof of their claims. One only needs to Google bubbles in space. The second topic I would like to address is the highest number of missing children per capita in the nation being in the areas surrounding Washington, D.C. to the Clinton Foundation's involvement and cover-up of trafficking non-orphan children out of Haiti. There's a growing list of investigators, including ex-Senator Nancy Schaefer, that was murdered just...
I want to draw the public's attention to what may be an extremely egregious example of malfeasance, and just to help illustrate the gravity of the situation, imagine if the federal government gave $19.5 billion to Hollywood. Well, there is a growing body of evidence that the International Space Station is not in outer space, but it's being filmed in a desalinated pool down here on Earth, and it's being falsely misrepresented. Started with this phenomenon known as bubbles in space. Bubbles out in space. Many of these so-called spacewalks, which have been falsely misrepresented as live, it is known that the astronauts do train in these big underwater tanks. And so this body of evidence, there are harnesses, there are green screens, and if this is true, it's a big deal. These bubbles in space might represent the smoking gun in probably the biggest hoax since global warming.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make an announcement. Has anyone heard the Earth is flat? Anyone on the train? NASA lies about everything. So the cosmology in the Bible is the true cosmology. Research it yourself. Fair enough? All right, guys. I'm here with a legit NASA employee. The spacewalk. He won't talk to me. He was all nice. He gave me an emblem. You hate Americans? Is that it?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
How the hell did you get that? Don't ever accuse me of that again.
Well, hey, I'm just curious. If you want to chat with me and answer my
I
question.
don't have to chat with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Step
true.
over there, okay? I'm done
You're not
talking.
the boss of me, bro. NASA's a fraud, bro. They lie about everything.
If there's anything to learn from this little exercise is that the reactions here are great. There's kind of nothing to be afraid of. Flat Earth, man. Check it out. You haven't researched it. Your kids are gonna laugh at you for thinking you live on a sphere. Who said there's an edge?
It's like part of the fuckery with the government, right? Why do you think they pretend to go to space but they don't?
It goes pretty deep real quick, but it's actually a hoax to keep up the myth that we are on a ball in space. The globe is a deception. Scarcity. Yeah, exactly. Research air bubbles in space because they film it in a pool, all the spacewalks. But here's the thing, they get people discussing the moon landing one as if that's like a conspiracy or something. But what they don't let on is that all of it. Hashtag flat Earth, that's where it's all going down, bro. These guys think it's a joke, that's the point. But if anyone has proof direct proof of curvature, prove it.
Exactly.
No one can though. That's the crazy thing.
People are so accustomed to what they've been absorbing for their entire lives, so it's difficult to wrap your head around. I can't say that I jumped on it right
You got
away.
squirt guns on your bike?
Oh, no, they're...
Oh!
These are my laser cannons to defend me against my enemies.
People were asking about these signs and I was explaining to them
Yeah, what's up with
what's going on. You know who Chris Hadfield is? The astronaut?
Yeah, I think so.
Space travel is essentially a big magic trick.
Okay.
It's all like a Hollywood thing. It doesn't actually happen. These astronauts are all propaganda. They fake that they actually go up there.
Yeah, he doesn't think we've been on the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, we've been on the moon.
You haven't researched it.
Yeah, how do you know I haven't researched it? How do you know I haven't researched it extensively? You've just met me now. How would you know?
What does air bubbles in space mean?
Pardon me? Pardon me? Pardon me?
Air bubbles in space.
I've never heard about that before. No comment. Not going to waste my time. We've been on the moon.
Keep thinking what you want. Have a good one. Like, straight up triggered. They fake it. all space travel.
I disagree.
The Matrix ain't gonna melt itself, boys.
Or you may have seen it on your way to work or school or just driving around. A new billboard has some people thinking about the Earth.
And asking the question, could the Earth be flat?
Digital billboard, a theory most of us have accepted that the Earth, of course, is round. But those behind this billboard say, well, we've all been tricked.
100 feet above their heads.
No.
I know about these folks.
I can't believe this is for real.
That they have some very hard, concrete evidence that they've convinced themselves that the Earth is flat.
NASA's pictures and spacewalks showing a curved Earth are all made up.
They're stuck in like 1492.
What is the Earth, guys? It's the measurements of flatness all around the world. Kansas State, it's known as flat as a pancake. Curry, Australia. We have Wadi Rum, Jordan. Bonneville, South Flats, Australia. Grand Canyon, San Francisco Bay, Western Australia. Highway 1, Danakil Deserts, the Everglades, Florida, a Baker, Siberia. Bolivia Salt Flats, 4,000 square miles flat. Where is the curvature? What about satellite imagery, guys? The only problem I have about this is the melting points of these metals. I do not believe in the government or anything they say in any way, shape, or form. I have this all written down, but I'm just going to go from the heart. Your place of importance becomes less than a grain of sand. That proves creator.
Okay, we gotta wrap it up because they need to get in.
Thank you.
We accept the reality of the world with which we are presented. We all go through the same education system. There's one mainstream science system, there's one mainstream media system, all the same information. Everybody gets it all at once. The question is, are they capable of massive lies? Do we automatically submit to authority? You taught it as fact, you taught it as truth. And something else I want to clear up is flat Earth is not a new phenomenon at all. But we're talking about the Sumerians, the Chaldeans, the Hebrews, the Egyptians, the Chinese. So this is not some kind of new psyop on the internet. Just the moon in general. We've got the craters on the moon, and they're all round. Because they tell us it's meteors and asteroids have created these. There's no impact trails. So they all must have hit straight on at 90 degrees. The other problem is we always have the same side of the moon facing us. So did they all come from Earth? Something else to ponder as well. There are no real shots of real satellites in space. If they've got all these cameras on all the satellites, why don't they take pictures of each other? Prove to us. Shut us up. One of the big arguments for a ball Earth is that ships disappear over the horizon. Because if we're on a ball and there's a curve that way and the ships are disappearing that way, then we should see a curve that way as well. And not just across the z-axis, but across the x-axis as well. Because it should be even. We should see it both ways. So sometimes they can be seen, sometimes they can't. It's not because they disappeared behind the curve of the Earth. The way our eyes work has got a lot to do with how things disappear in the distance. This is what we see every time you look out. A flat horizon. And a lot of people will maintain, I've seen the curve from an airplane. Airplanes fly at 37,000 feet, around 7 miles up. If you've seen the curve from 7 miles up, how did this V2 rocket in 1946 not see the curve from 65 miles up? Yeah, NASA are liars. Yeah, they can fool us with a telescope, but they can't fool science, can you? There's a scientific proofs, isn't there? In fact, you'll find most of the scientific proofs all assume previously that the Earth is a ball, or it is spinning, etc., etc. So they have to start with that assumption and then they can prove it. But without starting with that assumption, you can't. Again, we go to school and they say the sun's 93 million miles away. Everybody knows that figure. But that has changed ridiculously since Copernicus first came up with this theory. Not only that, they also used to think that the sun was fixed in the centre. Herschel then said, no, the sun's moving as well. It's not like this science is settled or anything, it changes all the time. They say the moon causes the tides. Gravity's supposed to be 6th strength on the moon. But you're telling me from 240,000 miles away, that affects the tides, but the spinning of the Earth doesn't. Things weigh exactly the same at the equator as they do in Britain or the North Pole. All the atmosphere is spinning along with the Earth. That's why we can't feel it, that's how, planes can still fly and everything else. But they want us to believe that the atmosphere is basically acts like one big solid directly attached to the Earth. That's the only way that you wouldn't feel it. But the atmosphere is gas, it's air. They say because of friction, that's what gets the air going. You can't get a solid just by friction to get a gas to rotate along with it. And this is nonsense. It doesn't work. It doesn't work scientifically. There are no experiments that prove the motion of the Earth. In fact, quite the opposite. You look up Michelson, Morley, Stagnac's turntables and Airy's failure, three of the most famous experiments in the 19th century, and they all basically proved that we're completely and utterly motionless. That's why they had to bring Einstein out in 1905. Because the theories of relativity.
Spinning globe 666 and the strong delusion. We've got the largest phallic symbol in the world in Washington, D.C., the Washington Monument, which stands at 6,666 inches tall by 666 inches wide. 666 all over the place. Looking at the spinning heliocentric globe, 666 keeps popping up. Speed of Earth's orbit. If you look it up, it's 66,600 miles an hour. It's how fast the Earth is supposedly going around the sun. Earth's tilt. Look it up, 23.4 degrees, 23.4 off of center. Well, 90 degrees, right? 90 subtract 23.4, 66.6. Curvature of the Earth. When you do the math to figure out how much the Earth is curving, 25,000 miles circumference ball, using the Pythagorean theorem, you end up with 8 inches per mile squared, which is the first mile. The curvature is 8 inches in 1 mile. 8 inches is 0.666 of a foot. 10 miles is 66.666 feet. 100 miles, 6,666.666 feet. Starting to see a pattern here. Scripture talks about there's going to be such a great deception that's going to come in the end times. Who brings the great deception? You know? That's right. God does. Now, I think Satan certainly capitalizes on it. Why? Well, Scripture tells us why. We'll be accompanied by the power of Satan. He will use every kind of power, including miraculous signs, lying wonders, and every type of evil to deceive those who are dying, those who refuse to love the truth that would save them. For this reason, God will send them a powerful delusion so that they will believe the lie. Then all who have not believed the truth, but have taken pleasure in unrighteousness, will be condemned. He sends the delusion because people would rather live in lawlessness. Now, I think that he gives us a pass when we do things in ignorance. Sorry, you guys attended this seminar, you're not in ignorance anymore.
Why I'm living too? Why I'm living too? Say what's wrong with me? Shit, what's wrong with you? Cause me, I'm feeling good. Me, I'm in my zone. I look up in the sky. I know this can't be home. And I know I ain't alone. They try to take you home. They try to sway the weak. And they try to break the strong. But I'm not a quitter. God's child, not God's dinner. On God, I'm Godzilla. Try to plot to make the plot thicker. See, the middle class got a lot slimmer. And the upper class got a lot richer. They want to revolt, they want you to riot, they want you to try it. They want to provoke us to keep us divided. But the people are no longer quiet. They say, Bob, they gonna take you out if you keep rhyming this way. I say, fuck it, we all gonna die anyway.